Hello friends, my name is Leigh, and on this channel we talk about all things photography. Today we're going to tour my new studio setup. I'll share how I have it organized, as well as a few of the secrets that are key to making this space work for me, including how I recently rigged up a homemade backdrop station and the single most helpful item in my studio. First, what do I do in here? I do everything. I work at my desk, I store my gear, I have a photo studio, I film videos here like I am now, and I even have a simulator desk. Its current configuration is for flight on the left and driving on the right. And I have a couch for lounging, working, and socializing. But let's dive into the details, beginning with the photo studio. I need to be able to tuck everything away when it's not in use because this space is used for so many things. For that reason, I recently hung my backdrops from the ceiling at the end of the room so that they are always at the ready, but can be rolled up when I don't need them. I couldn't find exactly what I wanted, so I made it with hardware that I purchased on Amazon, like chain and carabiners. We have several seamless paper backdrops, white, black, gray, and tan, plus a painted canvas backdrop, and they are all from Savage. I keep a step ladder nearby to reach the backdrops for rolling and unrolling. I still have normal backdrop stands, but they are put away in a closet. I always have some amount of lighting hanging out in the studio, though I sometimes will put them all in my closet so that I have more open space in here. I have several sets of studio lights and I do rotate through them all. Right now, I have several cold bore lights out because I am working on a project with some of their new RGB lights. You'll be seeing that project soon. These lights are on light stands, but I have several more as well as tripods leaned in a corner of the room for easy access. Okay, let's look at the shelves. These are from IKEA and I adore them. They house all of our cameras and lenses, plus a ton of other stuff in the drawers and containers. Starting with the camera storage. It's pretty much grouped by lens mount. We have Nikon Z, Nikon F, plus our Fujifilm X100V is here, and a few Sony E-mount lenses, though they nearly all have Z-mount adapters on them because we sold most of our Sony system a couple years ago. Here is our L-mount collection, plus our Leica Q2 and the Insta360 ONE RS 1-inch edition, and up above is all film bodies. Moving over here, I keep borrowed items like this collection of Sigma lenses up here, and then typically I have things that I'm working on in this area, like this 100mm f2.8 bubble bokeh lens that we just received from TT Artisan, and Raymond's latest purchase, a Pentax K1000 and a few K-mount lenses. Projects with those are in the works. That was an overview, but if you would like to see a video where I go through all of our cameras and lenses, let me know. Our collection has certainly changed since the last time we did one of those videos. A quick note here. Viewers have asked me how I keep my cameras clean, considering that they are sitting out on these shelves. I don't do anything special. I keep caps on everything. I sometimes wipe down the shelves or dust off the gear, maybe use a blower. But we use the gear so it stays relatively clean. And that brings us to the drawers and lower shelves. The drawers and bins below are filled with all sorts of things like lens caps, USB chargers, cleaning supplies, speed lights, audio equipment, film, camera straps, action cameras, odds and ends. I also have books and such down here, plus the charging station. We try to keep everything charged up and ready to go. Going to the opposite end of the lower shelves, you'll see this very old MacBook Air and some hard drives. This is our primary storage for our image files. And next door to this is one of our backup methods, these two Synology units, which are both set up as RAID storage. I have a video where I discuss how we have our image files organized and stored and backed up again. So I will link to that video in the description. The drawers that these Synology units are sitting on both have paper plus ink and office supplies like pens and rulers and staplers. Up above, this table holds two printers, this HP LaserJet as well as our trusty photo printer, the Canon Pixma Pro 100. We've had this for many years and it has served me well. Backing up under the hanging backdrops that I mentioned earlier is currently my desk. I move this around. Sometimes it's here, sometimes it's in the middle of the room. If I'm using the photo studio, I may even put it in the hallway, so it's completely out of the way. I mentioned earlier how happy I was with my new hanging backdrops. It is absolutely one of the best things that I've done in here, but the single most helpful item in my studio is wheels. That's actually more than one item, but they're all pretty much the same. You can see that I have here a hard floor. So using these furniture moving wheels has been absolutely amazing for me to move my desk, the couch, and my studio lighting. Sometimes I put my heavier tripods on these too. These allow me to move everything around my office every day if I want, because the wheels stay under my desk and under the couch and under my lighting. I love those wheels more than I can say. One thing that isn't on wheels though is my friend Veronica. If you've been on the channel for any length of time, you'll have seen her from time to time. I have used her as a stand-in to set up for portraits, but these days she's just a fixture of the studio. I can't imagine this place without her. Okay, only a few more things. Over here, I keep some stools and apple boxes, and you can see a wire here where I hang unframed photos on clips. I change these photos out relatively often. One of the bins on my shelves contains prints that aren't currently being displayed. Sometimes I put new photos up here, but sometimes I pull out old ones from the bin. And speaking of photos, the last thing to mention is my art and fun items like Lego builds and rocks that I have around the space. I spend a lot of time in this room, so I try to keep things around that bring me joy. These things, like the photos on the wire, are sometimes moved around the house or put away in bins so that I can switch things up. Now, I do have some other pieces of equipment in various cabinets and closets, things that only come out from time to time, like collapsible reflectors, light tents, my extra lighting. I've been working on collecting everything into this space by organizing and donating things, but it's a work in progress. One thing that is important to me is being able to be flexible and changeable in this space. I can move things around on my shelves. I can easily move the furniture. It's transformable to whatever I need it to be on any given day, which is important for me to get work done. But that malleability is also important for my creativity. When I move things around, it feels like a fresh start and it helps to shake things up in my brain. All right, friends, I will link to a few of my favorite things in the description of the video, like my favorite wheels. But before you start clicking on those links, I would like to hear from you. What are the one or two things you did in your workspace or your photo studio to make it work for you and for your unique needs? I look forward to reading all about it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.